Welcome to another episode of The Giant Leap. Today we have the incredible privilege of speaking with a man whose life and business journey has inspired countless people. He's built massive success across industries, navigated both triumphs and setbacks, and shown what is possible with hard work, resilience, and vision. He's someone who truly embodies the spirit of taking a giant leap in life.
Lloyd Ross, welcome to the show.
Hello, guys. Nice to be here.
So good to have you on. And first of all, we would like to say happy birthday for the other day. What did you get up
Thank
to?
you very much. Thank you. Another lap around the sun.
Yeah. So what did you get up to?
Well, it was the day before was Australia Day. So we all got together, about 25 or 30 of us, and had a party on the deck at my home. And that went till 3 o'clock the next morning, which was part of my birthday. So it was great.
Oh, amazing. That sounds so fun. So was there lots of you there?
So again,
How many people were there?
25 or so.
Oh, wow. That sounds, that's how much
It was
fun is
great.
that? That sounds
All
really good.
family, pretty much.
All family.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So Lloyd, we are interested to know, what is your definition of success today, and how has that evolved over the different stages of your life?
Well, as you know, we're living in a fast-changing world. And if I look back over the time that my business life started to where it is now, there's been substantial changes. And whilst that's been over a period of 40 years, I think over the next 5 years, it'll change faster than it did in 40 years. So it'll be a matter of keeping up with that change, being able to adapt to it. And the only constant thing that is with us is change. Some people flow with it and some just don't. So it's a matter of just staying in the saddle and keep on going, because there's really no other choice except to keep moving along, keep moving forward, and keep moving up.
How do you deal with that? Like, how do you deal with the change? How do you not stand stagnant and freak out about it?
Well, I guess that really when it all gets down to tours, it's really about attitude. And, over the years, naturally, knowledge has been very important. And I still rate knowledge as very important in the process of your climb to the top in any field. But attitude really is the key to everything. And you approach every day with a good positive attitude, and no matter what happens during the day, just keep it positive and keep being happy and keep enjoying it. And the people that do who are passionate about what they do are usually have a great attitude, and they're very positive. So it's not really that difficult. It's just a matter of turning up. I mean, when we get out of bed and we're vertical, we're in front for the day. So from there on in, everything's just a bliss.
Lloyd, what do you love about what you do?
I love helping people. People often ask me why don't I retire, and I think it's overrated, retirement. I have freedom in my life, and I can come and go as I please, and I do things like travel and so on. But I enjoy the benefits of people getting the things that they want in life, and I like to help them do that.
Yeah, that's lovely. That's lovely. At the age of, was it 27, you became a self-made millionaire?
I did.
A
How do you know that?
We know lots of little things about you, but that is a huge accomplishment, massive accomplishment, by the way.
We have someone on the inside.
Yeah, someone on the inside, you might know. But I want to dig a bit deeper. So, did that milestone bring you fulfillment, or was there still something missing?
Well, I suppose that I set a goal to do that when I was 22, and so it took me 5 years. And when I did reach that goal, I didn't even realize that I'd reached it until my accountant told me. So, to me, it was just same type of thing. The next day it was no different from being not a millionaire to becoming a millionaire. But, it was just something that it was a personal achievement, really, that I set the goal for, not for any other.
What made you at 22 sit there and go, right, I want to be a millionaire? And like 5 years later, you are.
Well, I went to England when I was 19, and then I came home. And when I came home, I really didn't want to do the things that I'd done before I left. So I looked around the place that I lived and looked at who was successful, and I thought I'll just tag along and see what they do and learn from them, because someone's got to teach us, and we've got to have mentors. And I've had several good mentors in my life, particularly in the early stages of my life, which helped me achieve those things. So at 22, I set out to say, I just told myself I'm going to be a millionaire, and I want to do it within 5 years. So I pushed myself to do that and did everything that I needed to do. And I was in those days in the insurance business, and sometimes I'd work right around the clock and not have any sleep. So
there's an incredible story about your insurance policy moment that I have listened to on another podcast, and you changed the insurance game by writing 100 policies in 1 week when the average was 2. So
the average is actually 0.8, but anyway.
0.8. Oh my God! So we've got our intels wrong here. So what was the driving force behind breaking that record and breaking, the record-breaking accomplishment that you had with it? What was the driving force behind it?
2 years before I did that, I spoke at a conference to about 300 people in Melbourne, and I made the comment during that 2-hour address that I thought it was possible to write 100 policies in a week. 2 years later, I was addressing a similar forum, and there was a particular person in the room that stood at the back of the room at the end of the talk that I gave, stood up and said, "Lloyd, you talked about making that 100 policies sales a week 2 years ago. You still haven't done it." And I thought, "Oh, geez, good boy." So I left that forum and went home and made a plan. And I went to Sydney the following week, and I sort of played it like a round of golf, even though I don't play golf. And I knew that I had to write 20 policies per day. And so I wouldn't stop work until I did. The first day, I think I wrote about 26. So I was a little bit ahead for the next day. The next day, I only wrote about 10. So I was a bit on par, really, by the time I got to Wednesday.
Yeah.
So I had a bit of a, sometimes when you work hard, the luckier you get. And I worked hard on the Wednesday. That was the hardest and toughest day, but I wrote another 30 on that particular day. And that took nearly 24 hours to do without any sleep. And by the time I got to Thursday, I knew that I was, really getting close to my goal. So that was pushing me further. And eventually on the Stevie Wright, who was, you might remember from a band, I think it was the Stevie Wright. Anyway,
I know the name and I can't think of the band. But I do know the name. Yeah.
Well, he was a timekeeper for the railways in those days. And I happened to turn up, and he became a client of mine, and he said, "Lloyd, there's a lot of people coming into the depot at about 1 o'clock. I think you should stay." So Stevie Wright actually helped me because he gave me the inside tip as the timekeeper for the railways. So they came in, and there was 3 or 4 truckloads of them. So he introduced me to them and said that he was a client and that it would be sensible of them to do what he'd done. So it was a matter of, a third-party influence giving me a hand. And, and I guess along the journey, we all need help in certain ways at different times.
Of course.
So what was the feeling like writing the 100th one?
Well, it was a great feeling, Josh. It was truly a great feeling because it was something that I'd thought about for quite a long time and talked about, and then finally had achieved it. And I dropped all the 100-odd proposals into the state sales manager's office in National Mutual in Sydney on the Friday afternoon. And I went home, I drove home to Tamworth, where I was living. And on the Tuesday, I got a phone call from one of the girls in the underwriting department. She said, "Lloyd, there's handwriting experts in here having a look at all these proposals. They just can't believe that this is, right." And I was really disappointed in National Mutual to do that, because I was their top consultant in Australia for a number of years. And to really question my integrity and my credibility, that really pushed me over the edge a little bit. So I rang a friend of mine, and I told him what had happened. And I said to him, "What I'd like you to do is to help me go back and do it again next week."
Did you do it
he and
again?
yeah. So he and I, Jeff Brown, his name was, we went back to Sydney the following week while they were still questioning all these signatures and so on. And we wrote another 110 between us. And we took them back into the office the following Friday and dumped them on the state sales manager's desk and said, we're having a beer downstairs, come and join us.
There you go. It's not a fluke. You just have to work hard. That's it.
That's
I
it.
love that.
Yeah. That's I think I would have been annoyed if they'd questioned my integrity as well.
I was.
Yeah.
But what a great positive up yours to them. I love that.
Yeah. And the following week, I rang the guy that stood up at the conference and challenged me about not doing it 2 years earlier. And I rang him to thank him for all the money that I'd made because of him.
Yes. I love that. From your stories, it's really clear to see that you are really goal driven. Okay. So you had this goal at 22 that you were going to be a millionaire and you did it. You wanted to write 100 insurance policies, you did it. What gives you the grit and determination to actually set the goal and achieve the goal? Because lots of people say, oh, I'm going to do this, but they don't do it. What sets you apart?
Case we get one life and we want that life to be the best that we can make it. Be the best version of yourself, do the best you can, and nobody can ask you to do more than your best. As long as you know that you are doing your best. And, you know whether you are and whether you're not. And you know when, you need to put the pedal to the metal and do the things that's required. And, the people that do make a success of their life, they make sacrifices along the way. I watch my children, what they do and what they achieve and how they go about it. And let me tell you, they get tremendous success. And, they do it, they're self-starters, they do it from their own self, not from any assistance from me or any other members, they just do it themselves. And I watch them and I'm proud of them about, how they go about that. And I know that behind the scenes, they work tremendously hard. And, and there's nothing comes easy in this world. So you just be your best and do your best and keep on doing your best and have that vision. The climb to the top, it's a big climb, but I'll tell you what, the view's spectacular and it's worth the climb.
That's amazing. And it's true because when you're not doing your best, you're only letting yourself down, aren't you? And you sit there, you sit there on your bum, not doing what you're supposed to do, and you procrastinate, and you actually just know that you're doing that for yourself, like you're hurting yourself, your own future. So just don't lie to yourself and just try harder. I like that a lot. It's
so
great.
you touched a bit on your family. I just wanted to ask, so your children have all grown up now. You've raised an incredibly successful family, including Lloyd J. Ross, who's our mentor and someone we admired deeply. Yeah. What's it like seeing your kids thrive, and what's the proudest moment you've had as a father?
The proudest moment I've had as a father. Wow, that's a big one. That's a big question, Josh. I've had a lot of proud moments. I will say that my 4 children, they were, whilst, I'm their father, their mother did a wonderful job with them, Susan. And, she was she is a great mother, and she did a wonderful job in their early years. And I think a lot of that flows on into their later years when they've had, good parental support and love and attention and care. And Susan gave our 4 children, like I was traveling a lot in and out of town and coming and going and running the business. And, so she was doing a lot on her own for a long time, different, across that journey. So I give her all the credit in that process with our children, the way they become and the people that they are and the adults that they are in the world today. And as they got older, you like to be involved with your children. When Lloyd and Alicia got involved in Isogenics, I got a letter from Alicia, and I thought, geez, Alicia's writing me a letter. I wonder what's in this letter. And she was writing me a letter to invite me to a forum in Brisbane. And I said, oh, you could have just asked me. I wanted to write you a letter. So I ended up getting involved. I went to the forum in Brisbane. It was fantastic. I'd never seen a community like it, and there were about 6,000 people there. And I was taken by, the successes of those people, and what they'd achieved was quite astounding. And I was thinking, geez, I wish this whole program was around when I was their age.
Yeah.
It's amazing, and it still is amazing. Anyway, I decided to get involved myself simply because I thought I could then spend more time with my kids, and by being involved in their enterprise, because my oldest daughter Brooke's also involved, and so is Cal, and so is Sophie. So, at different times we have a lot to talk about. I go to forums with them, and and we get to spend a lot more time together, and they're building their businesses and their lives, and I like to watch that and see that happen, and it's exciting.
So
And there's a lot of people.
Next on the cards, Lloyd, you're gonna change the game of isogenics. You're gonna do more. You're gonna sign up more people than anybody else has ever done before.
No, I'll tell you what, that Lloyd and Alicia got that one in play. There's streets ahead of me in that area for sure. And I often say that every generation should get better, and if they don't get better, then we wasted our time.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think it's great. Like if you picture it, like you're lifting the next generation up, and I think lots of parents get the wrong idea and they're trying to shove them down. And
true. You want the best for your children, and never be insecure about their successes. And just because they outshine you, that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah,
perfect.
Yeah, it is.
I love it when I see. We've got a little 5-year-old girl, and I absolutely love it when she comes in and she does something, and I just think, that's amazing. Like that's how do you know that? How do you do that?
Yeah.
It's just incredible, and it's just so beautiful to see their light shine, isn't it?
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, look at what Lloyd and Alicia have done with the Rediscover You program. It's massive, and it's growing exponentially right around the world. And wonder where I often think, I hope I'm around in the next 10 or 15 years to see where it actually really gets to, because it's an exciting process. It's certainly rockets.
And it helps people in so many ways, not just with their fitness, but it sets them up in a business. Lots of them are first timers. They, have a 9 to 5, but then they get to have all this inner workings of a business without the outlay. It's incredible.
Yeah, well, it is just because it helps people be the best version of themselves. And it does put them in a community that is unlike no other that I've seen in my business life. And, the opportunity, the compensation plan, it's a very strong compensation plan because it has no limit on the depth. It's once it's properly understood, it's quite amazing. I'm seriously taken by it.
Yeah.
And I think as it grows and grows and grows as it is, there's going to be a lot of multi-millionaires out of isogenics.
Yeah.
And, with Lloyd's books, Money Grows on Trees and Money Buys Happiness. And I can't wait for the third book to be released shortly.
I'm so excited about that.
I'm excited about that one too. It's going to be a game changer.
Yeah.
And that'll be shortly. So, if people adopt those things, those principles that will be in those books, and also that 5 Steps to Millionaire, what a program that is that they're doing.
Definitely.
And the financial education. I mean, when we go to school, when I left school, I didn't even know what a checkbook was.
Yeah.
I didn't even know how to get one. And we learned certain things at school. I think we learn more from our parents than anything, but we learn a lot. I give a lot of credit to my school teachers, over the years. They taught me a lot of things. But when I left school, I had no financial education. And, you start working and you start earning money, and you don't really know what to do with it unless somebody mentors you and you get some proper guidance.
It's so bad that we don't get taught that at school. It's crazy that they don't teach finances in school.
Some people, some kids kick off after, school and go to uni and things like that with a major HECS debt. Then they go and buy a motor car and they're in debt. So their life is built with debt, and they, eventually they hopefully build enough deposit to buy a home, but they're still back into a mortgage land and they've still got debt. And, it's not really the way it's supposed to be. It's not meant to be that way.
No.
So working hard allows you to hopefully generate a lot more income, understand how to deal with those funds, and build an income stream. Lloyd talks about a lot. I love that word, residual income.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful word, residual income. So
yeah,
I mean,
it's a great word.
oh, it is.
A lot
It's
of people talk about passive income, don't they? But it's actually, there's not really ever passive income. You have to work hard to get to that stage. So
yeah, you do. Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, I like the word residual.
Yeah,
because it's
much
just
better,
repeating.
much better
Yeah,
word.
much better.
Well, hey, Lloyd, we've been following your journey. We've seen that you love to travel. Thailand, cruises, being personal favorites of yours. What is it about those experiences that brings you the most joy, and how has travel shaped your outlook on life and business?
Over the years, we've done probably 25 or so cruises, and we've met a lot of nice people. And there's people like we have a lot of nice friends and people we work with over the years. We have a great relationship with them. And I guess when you travel, you meet a lot of people from other parts of the world, from different societies, different cultures, different backgrounds. And I've often said to Poppy over the years, geez, sometimes you've got to go around the world to meet the nicest of the people. So we've met a lot of tremendous people that we remain friends with. And like we're going to Japan at the end of this year to circumnavigate to Japan with a couple from Dallas that we went to Antarctica with, and also last year, Hong Kong, Singapore.
Wow.
So, when you build those sort of friendships, it's exciting. And, they teach us a lot of things, in those travels as well. And you get to experience things.
You've mentioned some of the places that I really want to go to. Like, I've never been to Antarctica. That's somewhere I'd love to go. Japan, I'd love to go. So yeah, that sounds amazing. Did you go on cruises to those places?
Yeah, I did. Somebody asked me just recently what are the three top cruises? And I said, well, geez, every cruise has been fantastic. We went through Bahamas and Colombia and places like that, and there was a lot of beach clubs in those areas, and that was like a real party time process.
Yeah.
But going to Antarctica was quite moving and quite special in so many different ways. It's something that I would highly recommend to anybody. If you can do that one day, go to Antarctica.
Yeah, it's on my bucket list for sure.
Yeah,
I think it would be
keep it on there.
incredible.
Yeah, keep it on there. It's terrific.
Yeah. You mentioned at 19 you went to the UK, and that was like a life changer when you came back. Where did you go in the UK, and what did you do?
I had grandparents living in the UK, and I was racing motorbikes, and I went over there thinking that I could become a world speedway champion, but I didn't have the talent or the money.
Okay, fair enough. Did you give it a good go though?
I give it a shot, but it just wasn't to be. So, but it was something that I dreamed of doing, and I just made a point of just one day going. And so I went down to Bristol and talked to the speedway team there, Bristol Bulldogs and stuff, and started that process and that journey. But I just recognised that the talent was just too good, and yet, you really needed to succeed. You needed to have some firepower.
Yeah.
And so I guess that was a bit of a lesson to me, in the sense that I knew that to get going in the world, you really had to have some firepower going. And if you didn't have it, you had to go and get it and make sure you go after it.
Yeah.
So do you think that might have been like a turning point for you to then set this goal that you were going to be a millionaire in 5 years when you came back?
Well, when I was living in the UK, the English were very friendly to me, and I enjoyed my time there, and I fondly think of it, as I've gotten older. And when I came home, it made me really appreciate just how good our country is here in Australia, and the opportunities. And they're still there, those same opportunities.
Yeah.
For the people who have the desire. And it's having that desire to know that you just want to do this, and you can. I've got a new consultant started in our property practice, and he's in his mid-30s, and I see in him a lot of things that I seen in me at 35 years of age. He's got the desire, and he's got a purpose. And, that's one of the things about not retiring. You maintain a purpose in life, because, you can only, can't travel all the time. I mean, I suppose you can, but it's not something you really want to do, and when you're not traveling and doing things, you want to be in an enterprise that's got purpose and gives you purpose and gives you, excitement for the day, and enjoy what you do. I mean, if you're retired and you play golf 3 times a week, well, that's fine. But, that's not really what I want to do. Sometimes people like that, and we're all different.
Yeah.
I like to have a bit more purpose. A friend of mine, he's been a close friend of mine for 30 years. He worked in my property practice for a long time. And when he turned 60, he said, Lloyd, I'm going to retire. And I said, oh, yeah, okay. So I bought him a set of Callaway golf clubs, which cost me a fortune, and and give him a nice send off and all that sort of thing. And he's a millionaire in his own right, a multimillionaire. And a year later, he rang me up and he said, I need to come and talk to you. And he come and see me, and he said, I'm all depressed. And I said, why are you depressed? I said, I thought you were playing golf and enjoying your life and so on. And he said, Lloyd, what I didn't realize that when you retire, you're then out of the loop.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And he said, I miss that. He said, I miss catching up and seeing you every other day and having lunch and a few drinks and talking to a few of the consultants and going to a few functions. And, he said, I miss all of that. He said, and it put me in a world of depression. And he still talks to me about it. He says, even now, 10 odd years on, he says, I just should never have retired.
Yeah.
And,
I'm guessing like it's a bit different if you're doing a job which is not your own and you don't, and it feels like it's a grind every day, and you can't wait to retire. But if it's something that you love doing, it's part of your life, you've built it, you've created it.
Yeah.
It's like giving your child up, isn't it? Like a little bit, like, all of a sudden, like, oh no, I'm not going to do that anymore. That's quite I can't imagine not working.
Yeah, what you choose to do in life, whatever it might be, hopefully it's something you enjoy, and hopefully it's something you're passionate about. And over the years, I've sort of, and I say this a little bit tongue in cheek, but it's sort of like a hobby to me.
Yeah.
It's something that I do all the time, and I enjoy it, and I'm passionate about it, and it's sort of like it's like a hobby, and I get a lot of excitement for the people that get the benefit out of doing the things that we show them. Because really, at the end of the day, when people buy property, it's just an education process, and helping them, because this is something that in our property practice, which is 35 years old, we do it every day, 24/7. People tend to buy a property every 5 to 7 years, so they do it once in a blue moon. And during that time, from one property to the next, a lot of change takes place, and they're not even aware of what that change is, and so on. So, we keep on on top of all of those things, and we know what the square meter rate is for a new luxury lifestyle apartment, and we know what the location, whether it's rated as a 7 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10. So there is a lot of elements in property that really is just really about education. And it's like what you guys do, helping people. It's really educating them and taking them to their next level.
Yeah, if you're not buying, I mean, exactly like you said, like people don't buy houses every week. So it's your job to help them when it's time they're not going to remember or know the new stuff. So it's just education, isn't it?
Yeah, just constant education. Yeah. So we keep, educating ourselves and learning, and stay excited and stay with a positive attitude and just get on with it. And, it's like I watch what Lloyd and Alicia do around the isogenics model and around the 5 steps to millionaire. And I follow them, and I get excited for the people that achieve the things that they set out to achieve.
Yeah, me too. I watch them through their journeys, and I absolutely love
amazing.
it. So,
and we get to be part of that as well. Like I manage quite a few pods, like these little pods for the 5 steps and stuff. So I get to kind of like coach people and motivate people in there, and I get to see like real changes. And it's amazing being in like the help business, isn't it? Just really helping people.
Yeah.
Well, and it's good when you guys are doing it together. Like Poppy and I, we built the property practice together for, well, it's now 35 years old. And initially there was just her and I, and then we built it and kept it going and built it to where it is, in the world of today. And it's good when you can do that together. That really is quite special.
Yeah, it's interesting working together, isn't it, as a partnership? We've been working together for about 13 years now, haven't we? 12 years, 13 years. But there's a lot of growth that has to happen there. Like,
you
have to learn each other's boundaries and things.
Yeah,
How
of
did
course.
you deal with that?
Oh, well, that has its moments and challenges for sure. But, and we bring different things to the table in terms of skill set and how we are as people. So really, it's like getting to live two lives, in one at the same time.
Yeah.
Not just living your life on your own, you're living it with that person that you're doing it with. And that's why, I watch what Lloyd and Alicia do. And because they're doing it together, there's two of them at it. And Lloyd's got some skills and Alicia's got some skills, and they bring those skills together, and that takes them to the moon,
Yeah.
So, it's wonderful.
That's the same with us.
Yeah, and with that person, you have like full trust, you have full faith. And if they're, if you've got that joint vision, like it's so powerful, isn't it?
Yeah. Unconditionally. So it's very powerful.
Yeah.
So it's wonderful to see couples doing that. I admire that tremendously. And I just know that they're on the right track, because that's the way it is. When you can do it, not all, unfortunately, not all couples can do that, because they've got their different career paths and so on, and they don't have a business because it's not something therefore they can do together. But if you do create a business and you do it together, it's so much better business.
Yeah. I love it. I love working with Josh. It's fantastic. It was hard, like at the beginning.
Yeah.
It was definitely
But I think like anything, when you get in past the 10 years, you started to work some stuff out. All you got to do is 10 years. That's not much, is it? And then you're good.
Lloyd, you've had this incredible ability to connect with people, whether it was cold canvassing or building trust in businesses. What is your secret to building strong relationships, and how has that helped you achieve lasting success?
To genuinely like people. You have to genuinely like people. And I, like in the insurance business, I trained a couple of hundred people over a period of a few years. And whilst I was teaching them a lot, I was also learning a little bit from each of them. So, it wasn't just about me teaching them when I was helping them, working with them and showing them what I was doing, but I was learning a lot from them as well at the same time. So I was taking the good points from each person and building them into my own life. So, when you genuinely like people and you spend time with them and you're passionate about people, and I genuinely am, I like people. I like helping people, and I always have. And that's why I always enjoyed the cold canvassing world, because, you'd get up in the day and go off for the day, and you'd meet people you wouldn't have met if you didn't do that sort of work. So it was exciting.
That's such a unique outlook to that kind of work, because the majority of people that do that are like, oh my God, I'm going to have to knock on this door, every door. They're like, oh, what are they going to say? I'm so nervous. And then they move on to the next one, and then they do exactly the same thing.
I've done a bit of it.
Whereas you're like, you're just like, oh, this could be a new opportunity to have a chat.
Yeah.
Well, it is. Well, I've met thousands and thousands of nice people, and like once you, say hello and put your hand out to shake the hand, those people have got hearts and souls, and they've probably had some tough times in their life along the way. And, I try and put myself in their shoes and, and try and understand that, because none of us have a blessed life that goes along just, smoothly all the time, So when you do meet people and you're genuine and it comes across, that you're going to help them and you are genuine and you're there to help them, not just there for your own selfish sake.
That's true.
What's the hardest thing that you've ever experienced in your life?
Geez. When my dad passed away when I was 8, that was a very difficult part of my life. That was a shock, really, because, you don't expect that when you're an 8-year-old, that one day your father goes to work and is not coming home. And that's a big game changer, to any children that, and I'm certainly not alone in that one, because it happens all the time, unfortunately and sadly. But that's a real game changer when we lose someone so close to us in our families, be it our parents, one of our parents, or both of them. That's challenging, all right. That really hits home to you. And I suppose that it did actually, it probably changed me as a person at that time, once that period of my life was happening, because it really, I knew that I wasn't going to have that guidance. I worked it out early that I wasn't really going to have that guidance that I took for granted.
Yeah.
So a big game changer. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
How did you think that? Sorry, how did you think that impacted you going forwards?
Well, I used to sort of at night time I'd go up to the park near my home, and I'd sit there and look up at the stars and think about all sorts of things. And I just sort of was sitting there as a young boy, 8, 9, 10 years of age over those years, and thinking, I've got to make this my life happen, because he's not here to help me anymore.
Yeah.
So that really motivated me, I suppose, put a lot of desire into me, that's for sure. And so some people say, it's when you lose a parent, it changed your life. It certainly does, and hopefully it changes it for the better. And in the sense that you make better of your life because of that tragedy and that loss.
Do you think it may have impacted this goal-driven future that you had? Because you felt like you didn't have that. Do you think it could be something to do with it?
I don't know. I don't know if that came along then, but I think it certainly came along. Once when I married Lloyd's mother, Susan, I then knew that it wasn't just about me anymore. My life, it was going to be about building a family and providing for them and giving them the best opportunities and a fine education and things like that. So those that sort of started to drive me really then at that point in time.
The backstory, like selling life insurance policies and having that backstory. It's like no wonder that you could, you really had that.
You had the pain from
to transfer across, that genuine, like, look, you guys, you need this. Like, this could happen. This has happened to me.
Yeah. And you're spot on, Josh, because I'm still a firm believer in it. And even though I'm not in that business and haven't been for a long time, I still believe that, we have to make sure that if something comes along out of left field and changes the dynamics of our family, that there is enough money there to do the things that needed to be done. So,
yeah, because it's hard enough with the passing of the person, let alone like if they have to deal with all the shit that goes along with it.
All the financial grief. Yeah. So, I'm still a firm believer of that. So you're right, Josh. That did instill a lot in me from that experience. Yeah.
We've talked about the importance of passive income and residual wealth. So what's one piece of advice you'd give to somebody who's looking to build that kind of financial freedom for themselves?
Well, I've spent millions of dollars over the years in my property business, and therefore there is a lot of risk associated with building a business, any business for that matter. When you look around the world today and the way that it's transforming, and you look at the way that it is online, the opportunities are abundance. So when you have the opportunity to build an enterprise that you don't have to put up a lot of capital, that you don't have to take a lot of risk, that has got a great product and does have a great community that you can assist and work with and help, and they help you in turn, and you get a great compensation for doing that, that's the sort of business that I, would be looking to do if I was starting again. Because it's not easy. and if it was easy, everybody'd be doing it, and but it's achievable by any person. Yeah, it's not about it's not about IQ or how smart you are or you're not. It's about your determination and finding the right enterprise that works for you, and then make sure that you push it and drive it as hard as you possibly can for as long as you possibly can, and build it to where you want it to be. And
having something where you could feel like you could go to sleep at night is a lot better than if you're risking millions and then something goes wrong and you're like, oh God, third day in a row, no sleep. I got to figure this out. How am I going to dig out of this hole?
Well, that's not enjoying life, and that's not the journey, and that's not what it's supposed to be, is it? Like, I mean, a friend of mine is a billionaire times 6, and he tells me that he nearly went bankrupt 3 times. And he says to me, Lloyd, if I had to start again today, he said, I don't think I'd have been able to achieve what I've achieved. And he said, because I wouldn't be prepared to take those risks again. But he said, when you're younger, you don't realize and you don't care, and therefore you do. So I can understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about spending money, right?
Yeah.
So you've enjoyed life's luxuries. I believe have you got a red Porsche? Is that right? Or you love Porsches? What's one indulgent you've made that you think was absolutely worth it, and one that maybe you look back on now and you laugh about?
Yeah. Well, there's a couple. I bought a farm years ago, and I turned it into a resort and spent millions.
Oh,
And
wow.
then I worked it out that it's a young man's game. So, because what I didn't think was I'd get older. I thought I was going to stay at 40. That doesn't happen. So I sold it a few years ago and got my life back, because when you're
what was the farm?
It was
what
a horse
was the
stud.
resort? Like,
It was a horse stud, a breeding horse stud, and I had about 12, 15 brood mares and a couple of stallions and 50 other foals from it over the years. And a mate of mine I went to school with and played footy with, he was a retired teacher, and he came out to run it for me for a little while, a couple of years, and he was a good horseman and come from a horsing background. And he says to me, he says, Lloyd, are you breeding these horses to sell? And I said, well, yeah, that's the general idea, Richard. And he said, well, it looks like you're collecting them. So, but, I don't regret those days, because we had a lot of fun with the farm over the years. But we really did turn it into a resort, because I built a 60-foot by 40-foot pool and put in a tennis court and a swim-up pool bar, and put post and rail fencing right around it, and stables and walk and round yards, and like, it was an amazing place. And
did you sell it for more money than you put into it? Did you make money or did you lose money?
No, never. Never. And another time, when they brought the Aston Martins back to the world in 1999, they made 99 of them. And a bloke rang me up, a mate of mine. He said, Lloyd, you got to go and have a look at this car. He said, it's something special. So I went and had a look at it, and it was about $600,000 in 2000. So it's 25 years ago, and it's 600,000.
Oh, wow.
So I made this emotional decision and bought it, and I'm thinking, and then I never drove it. It used to sit in the basement of my office for weeks at a time, and the battery would go flat, and I'd have to get Aston Martin to come over and put a new battery in it, and then I'd take it home because I was feeling guilty because I wasn't even driving it. So I had it 12 years and put 8,000 kilometers on it. So,
and it devalued by half when it left the.
Oh, at least.
What type of Aston Martin was it?
It was a Vanquish, handmade Vanquish.
Them. Yeah, I love them. Yeah. I love Aston Martins, actually, but I don't know if I'd just buy one. Well, maybe one day I'll make the same mistake.
Hey, Lloyd, what's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Geez, that's a very difficult question, Josh. It's early in the day here. Wow. Just live your best life. Just live your best life. And a guy said that to me when I was 22. He said, Lloyd, and I admired him and respected him. And he sort of mentored me in my first year in business. And he said, Lloyd, just do your best and live your best life and enjoy it because it goes by quick. And I thought at the time, oh, yeah, and I'm 22, and, I'm thinking, wow, that's, I wasn't even thinking past 23 or 24. And he's talking about your life's going to be, be 50 before you know it. Yeah. And he was so right because it goes by so quickly. Yeah. And you try not to, want to look back and have regrets. I mean, we make a few errors and a few mistakes, and you only learn from those things. And you can't look back and be regretful. You can look back and look back on those things fondly, really, than any other way, and just live your best life and enjoy your life.
So, how much of your life do you think you've lived your best life?
Most of it. Yeah, probably. I lived probably 40 years of pretty good life. I've done a lot of traveling. Met a lot of people, built a lot of businesses. Helped a lot of people. Helped them become millionaires as well. You do it just because you do, not because of, I don't ever want any thanks for it. It's just a matter of we did it together and we made a lot of money together, and now you're financially independent and so am I, and we're having a good time and having a good life. Right. And a real good mate of mine, we just come back from a cruise around Christmas, New Year from in South Africa. And he and I worked together, he was a good mate of mine and he still is. We worked together in both the insurance business and the property business. And he's he's financially well off and in good order and a millionaire times many. And we had a great time together. And while we were on holidays for a few weeks, we didn't even talk any business because nothing to talk about really. It's just, enjoying our life, having fun.
Yeah.
Do you think you're getting better at living life as you get older? Like, is it like getting a professional at something? Like,
well, Josh, when you get sort of older and you get more excited because you know that the timeline's shortening. So, you keep giving it your all.
Yeah.
And I'm not ready to get old. And it's not something I'm looking forward to, and it's not something I want to achieve. So I'm just doing it whatever I can, whenever I can, for as long as I can.
Has that seize the day mentality ever landed you in hot water?
Yeah, a lot of times. A lot of times. Lots of times over the years. Geez. Well, I never want. The thing is, I never want a day to close. I never want a day to come to a close, and I can't wait for a new day to begin. So, I put in a lot of late nights over the years playing and playing up and getting into trouble and all sorts of things. And it's not because, well, it's probably because I'm a bit naughty, but I suppose I just don't want a day to come to a close.
Hence the birthday finishing. The Australia Day finishing on your birthday. I love it.
But
hey, Lloyd, can you give us an example of your perfect day?
My perfect day?
Yeah.
Wow, perfect day. Well, pretty much what I do every day, Josh. I get up and shower and get ready and get dressed and jump in the car and come to the office and talk to the people that I need to talk to. And, I have good people around me and they're like Crystal's worked with me for 25 years. And a good close friend of ours, Mariana, she's works with us and she's been a friend of ours for 25 or 30 years. And Sarah, she came back, she was with us for about 10 years and she went off and had babies. And She's recently rejoined us because she said, well, I enjoyed working with you on those years ago and I'd like to come back. So it's nice when they want to come back. You know, once they go, sometimes they go forever. It's nice when you get good ones back. And Jeff, he's a consultant with me, and Jeff's been with us for 20 years. And we're great mates and good friends and trust one another unconditionally. And he does well. And, you know, it's a great relationship. And so, and another guy, Gary, he's a consultant with us. He's been a mate of mine for 30 years and worked with me in the insurance business. And he's come and joined us in the property business in recent times. So it's nice when you collect them, they go away and they come back.
Yeah.
Hey,
Means you've done something, means they like you, doesn't it?
What's the most exciting thing you're looking forward to this year?
Wow, geez. Tomorrow.
Oh, nice answer. I like that.
That'll be a blessing, Josh. Well, my youngest daughter, Sophie, she's getting married in March. So I'm really looking forward to that. And that'll be exciting. And because I've got a good son-in-law elect, I call him, until March, and then he become my son-in-law, and he's a champion bloke. So I'm excited.
I like that son-in-law elect. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's what you are. That's what I
Love it.
And my daughter Brooke, she's married to a champion boy, Ben, and he's a great son-in-law from heaven. I get lucky in that area, you know. I got Alicia, she's the daughter-in-law from heaven, and Ben's the son-in-law from heaven, and I'm about to get another one.
Yeah.
And Cal, he's my youngest son. He's in the military, and he's now a major. And his girl, she's an American girl, and her father was in the military. They've just come back from America, visiting them in Florida recently. So I'm hoping there'll be another wedding on the table in 2025.
That would be nice.
That
would be nice.
Hey, look, we wanted to finish with a big question. Are you successful?
I actually don't think about that. It's based on probably what other people perceive, what success comes in a lot of ways. You know, it's not just in business, it's in personal development. It's in how you are as a person, how you treat other people, what sort of person you really are. Are you a person that likes to give? Are you generous? Are you nice to people? Do you have a smile for everybody? You know, there's a lot of ways of saying success and successful. You know, I'd like to think I'm a good person, and I like to think that people benefit from crossing my path and me crossing their path. So that's how and you know, when you have children and they grow up and they turn into good adults and they're making their way in the world and they're helping. I admire what Brooke does with the Isogenics business and what Lloyd and Alicia do with it and helping so many people around the world. I'm so proud of them for that.
So you must have done something right.
Well, well, must have done something, yeah.
I think we've all benefited massively from crossing your path today. So that's 100% true.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lloyd, for your time. It's been incredible listening to your stories and listening to your wisdom. You're an awesome human being, and yeah, it's been great connecting with you.
I feel like we've only just scratched the surface, and we've learned so much from you already. And I know that our listeners are going to walk away so inspired. So thank you so much for coming on this show. We might have to get you on again because, like, I feel like we've literally just like gone like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, likewise, it's lovely to meet you both properly. I mean, I've been following you a little bit and here and there, and it's nice to finally talk to you and meet you properly. And I hope one day that we can meet in person. I look forward to that day. That'll be special.
One day soon, I think.
Yeah, we'll be over in October.
Yeah, we're hoping to come over in October. Yeah, it's not set in stone yet, but it's in the cards.
Hey, Lloyd, if people wanted to connect with you, what's the best way to connect with you?
just give me a ring.
Let's
Give me a ring and say hello.
say hi.
Or they
My
can
number's
find you on
open.
Facebook under Lloyd Ross.
Yeah, they can find me on Facebook. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, and just
what
send me a
about
message.
what about your property business if they want to find out a bit more about that?
We've got a closed group. It's called Property Investing Mastery, and it's a closed group, so they can send a thing, request to Property Investing Mastery, and they'll find us there as well.
Okay,
Lovely.
we'll put it all in the show notes as well underneath this podcast.
Yeah.
And listen, if you do come to Australia and you're on the Gold Coast at any time, don't book into any hotels. I've got plenty of bedrooms available, free accommodation.
Oh,
So come and see-
amazing.
We'll take you up on that
Yeah,
for sure.
thank you so much. That sounds amazing. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Definitely.
no problems.
Right, we'll say bye to all of our listeners. Thanks for listening to The Giant Leap.
Thank you all for coming today, listening to us all go on today. And thank you, Lloyd, that you've been an incredible guest. Thank you.
See you next time.
Bye.
All right,
Okay.